urban landscape. I will be giving you a brief later on. Right, so let me share first what is the next assignment. This is a group assignment. How many of you in the class? I forgot that. I think 30, I haven't checked. So your next
I think
assignment will be in the group assignment. So 4% in one group. How many of you total in this class?
almost 38. 38. Yeah,
30, 38,
38. 8.
30, 38.
38. 8. Yeah.
I can, sorry, let me browse through. Let me check. Today, we're supposed to have, what is the list? Supposed be 40 here. I'm not sure. Registration student 40. So one group we will have a four person. Based on the registration, I got 40. So maybe including the second year, I think. So hopefully they are always in our class. Um, okay, let me back. So one group will consist of four person or four student. Where is my again? Okay, four students. So the assignment basically to identify and to recognize urban landscape elements in the some particular areas that you choose. Okay. Example, let me share it to you. Okay, let me share. I can share. I'm not sure why. Okay, let me try to share back. Okay, can you see this Google Earth? Not yet, of course.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now I want you to select one area that you familiar. Of course, you no need for you to go there, right? So you need to discuss with your friends. Okay. Area that you are familiar. Choose just one area in a group. Okay. Example, Kuala Lumpur. So we go to KL first. Of course, it's far not familiar, but this is a bit that we need have a communication among members. Example, this is a city of Kuala Lumpur. So Kuala Lumpur is not so big, okay, because it's just 4 million or 3.5 million people. Example, this is the area of the old area of Kuala Lumpur. Okay, here you can see the square, what they call it the Padang. And at here, they have a Dataran Merdeka Square, right? This is what we call the plaza or urban square. And this is the old administrative building during the British era. Now it's become a museum. Before that is a it's a court actually, and this is the river. Okay, you don't need to take all, so you just take one area like this. Example, let me give you example. This area one. Okay, let me choose this. Okay, example, you want to you just cover this area. This is example, okay? So you need to discuss. So choose your own members. So this is the one area, right? Can you see the red color?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I need to make it bigger. I think more better.
Do you meet
Okay.
the line? Okay, okay.
The red line.
Yes.
So just use this one area. I want you to identify urban landscape element. For example, the square, the feature there, the walkway, uh, the landscape of monument, water feature, planting. So one group, you need to produce one A1 size. Okay. The examination that you need to do this assignment is about recognizing about urban landscape feature. Okay, urban landscape feature. So I told you last week, urban landscape derived from, of course, you can comment on hardscape, softscape, building conservation, urban plaza, pedestrian, right? So maybe you need also you need to look back my note, okay? So based on my note that giving to you, landmark for you also can use the urban design language or townscape language, okay? Townscape language. So you follow my note, my slide. So from there, I want you to extract and explain about this area, particular area, and how you define the urban landscape at that particular site that you choose. For example, this is the area one, okay? Then another person want to talk about the maybe area two. You want to take this. Oh no, not this one. Example area two. This area one, okay? This one. So maybe area two LCC. Example. But of course you cannot. You're not going there, right? I mean as a physically as a group. But you discuss, okay? Someone in the group need maybe if you familiar or two or three, so you need to share the information that you get. And if you want to cover more, a place need to be, of course, that you choose must be you familiar. For example, even if Isfar can suggest his town or his city, but of course he need to describe to the group, right? To go to the site, taking picture, then discuss. All right. Uh, do you get what I mean? A site, you got a you got 4 person in one group, so you must choose just one site. Okay. So a site that someone maybe familiar. Or if three of you familiar, that's fine. But it must be at least one of you must be familiar. Example, this is KLCC, okay? So maybe you want to take KLCC is your study area, urban landscape, and I just put. You also can use Google Image. It doesn't matter. Okay, this is area two. Example, you want to take this area. Of course, that is the urban park, right? So you can explain a bit. So this is for example area two. So this is group one. This is group two. I'm not saying that you need to go all. Do you understand what I'm saying? So just one of you need to familiar and can go to the site. Then you discuss with your members. You must share the information to your members. So this is about the urban landscape. Uh, what they call it just now I mentioned to you, the urban landscape uh, kind of assignment, urban landscape assignment. Okay. So I will brief you later on, and I'll send you to your WhatsApp. So first, you need to recognize the place. Where is the place? Get the background of the place. Okay, let me put chat here. urban landscape. Okay. So basically, number one, you need to study and okay. Background of the site, yeah. Background of the site. Then number two, you examine the place based on recognizing urban landscape element and critique of the urban space. Okay, background of the site. Examine the place based on recognizing urban landscape elements. So the elements, I mean the hardscape and the softscape. Then you can critique about the place, the urban space. For example, pedestrian, parks, urban park, plaza, square. So you just choose one. If this is this is example the urban park, right? Urban park, and the difference is this is the urban square. Okay. For example, you go to Bukit Bintang or Orchard Road in Singapore, if you are familiar, okay. Let me settle this one first. Okay, this Orchard Road is very famous as a shopping area. It's a shopping mall, okay. Shopping street, yeah. See, this is the block. This is very clear. I just put area R3. Okay, example, this is your study area. Okay. This is about pedestrian mall. Okay. Example, you take this area. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the Orchard Road. Maybe if four of you not familiar or maybe never been there, you just forget. You just forget about this. Okay. So you need to choose one that you familiar, that you can go to take photo, to get plan. You can use Google Earth, I think. For example, if you you examine about the urban landscape, example over there. So you can comment about the street, pedestrian mall. You can example this banner, contain the security, the vegetation, the pocket space. This is a pocket space, urban lighting. Okay, urban lighting. So of course that you cannot depend on the what you call it, view. A place need to be that can go. Potted plant. This is part of the urban landscape. So you can see sculpture, public art, right? Water feature. This is the pocket space. Okay, a landmark, a focal point, notes. This is example. You can use, of course, Google Street View, but sometimes it's not all that you can using the Street View. So the best place, the best the best part that you can go and examine through your experience. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
For
doctor.
example, this is the signages. Okay. Utilities, you can see. Even you can comment the utilities covered by plants. Is a good example. So this plant will create a buffer between the main road and the pedestrian, and you can also can comment the big trees giving a shade to this pedestrian mall, and also to make a pedestrian more comfortable for people walking around it. So you can refer back to my slide. So every group need to submit a A1 board. Okay, not the what you just. I think you just prepare the A1, right? The plan. You must have a plan and photo, of course. The plan is no need you for you to draw. You just use Google, or is there any plan from as but I can any available plan you can get from internet or some other references. So you need to put in the poster. You must have the plan, because from the plan we can explain what do you mean about the background of the place, right? Prepare the plan, and you can also can make some diagram, images and photos of the site. So every whatever thing that you want to comment or you want to highlight must have images and photo. Okay. Then of course conclusion or your finding, the comments and conclusion. So we will have a presentation in maybe in the week 16 or week 17. So I'll give you a 3 weeks or 4 weeks to do this. Okay, guys, is there any question? This is one example for the Orchard. Of course, the most of you staying in Malaysia, except is far. So even you can choose like Kuching. You want to choose about Kuching waterfront. Ada yang daripada Kuching? Is there any from of you from Kuching? Ada kan? Siapa from Kuching? Kuching Sarawak.
No, only from Sabah.
Okay, Sabah. Where? Kota Kinabalu.
Yeah.
Okay, example, you want to use Kota Kinabalu, right? Example, in your group, you discuss first. The area must be accessible. So someone need to go, take photo, giving, so you must work together. Example, this is, I'm not familiar with Kota Kinabalu. Okay. Example, you want to choose this river. I don't know, maybe they have some development there. Or you want to choose, I'm not so sorry, I think this is a mosque. I'm not so familiar. Or maybe, okay, you can see the waterfront there, right?
Yes.
That's the waterfront. So you want to choose the waterfront, you can go to the waterfront. So you can use this map. So you can see from there the urban landscape of the river. The riverfront, they have a plaza and the paving pattern, okay, parking space, and I'm not sure what they have here. Okay, so if you can go and discuss with your friends, so even you can draw a section on this. I think from here, maybe you can see. Oh, good, because they have a road there. Okay, you can see some the urban landscape, some trees, decking, sitting area, right? This is a parking space. What else? Urban lighting. There are some limitation if you are depending much on this what they call the street view. So of course that you need to go to the site and help your friends to take some photo example. So this is just one example. So you also can comment on the urban lighting with the solar railing, the streetscape. All right, parking space. Choose choose the area that you are familiar and a lot that you can share to everyone later on. Railing, provide for the safety and security, prevent from the any accident there. Okay, so the benches, but sometimes it's not so many. So that's why you can even you can everyone can suggest first your own place. So at the end of this, you can see the roundabout there. I don't know. Maybe I can see here. So you can comment the landscape at the roundabout, the urban landscape of the street here. So you can see this sculpture, the public art, and the vegetation, the shrub, giving some interesting landscape at the north of this road. Okay, just one A1. So you discuss with yourself. So I said to you, choose a one site, examine the place on the recognizing urban landscape elements, and then you can critique about also about the urban space there. So you prepare or just take a plan from Google Earth or any references that you can get, because you need to present it later on. Then you need to have some images and photos to support your statement.
Okay, so the site plan should or master plan should be on A1 paper, right?
You combine everything in just all in A1.
All the
Yeah, do you
images
have
and
yeah, the plan, the images or photo that you want to comment on the urban landscape, all you compose in one A1.
hmm, okay.
So one group is just to produce one A1.
And
Okay.
the comments also we write in A1, or is it
Yeah,
power
no, I
burnt?
mean everything in the one A1. Everything.
Okay.
Example. Not sure whether I can show it to you or not.
Doctor,
Okay.
can the place same with other group, or
No,
we have to do the different place?
different places.
Okay.
All right. So different places, so you can communicate with your friends. There are many many places. So please choose, because we have a in this registration got 40. So if four of you, so we can have a 10 group. Okay. Choose the area that you can go, because to support your statement later, right? To support your the information, isn't it? So that's what I want you to do. Okay. Um, so is there any more question? So last time I mentioned about, so you can ask me later on, or also that you can refer to my slide. I think my slide is there are a lot of information there, so you can digest. Okay, if you look back my lecture last week about urban landscape, so it's very complex. The urban area, they have many of spaces. Okay, and most of the spaces are well located. For example, I mentioned the district, right? So every district they have their different genus loci or different kind of environment. So the urban landscape also same. So you go to this like the old area, so you can find out the different typology, what they call urban typology. Yeah, I just type here. So what is urban typology? So if you talk about urban space, so there are various type of space in the city. Okay, so for example, the old area, right? You can see the pocket space, the plaza, and you can see even the urban park. You can see the waterfront there, right? The type of waterfront. This is another type of waterfront. This is in Clarke Quay, the side. So and you can see very interesting the pedestrian walk connected all building. And over here, let me try to find out. They have a bus inside the block, no, within the block. Plan. So this is the water, and this is the square, Padang, and this is one of the historical area. So that's why you can see a monument there, right? A monument, one of the historical place in the city of Singapore. So this is the one of the landmark, the old landmark in the city of Singapore, example. And this is the rain trees, part of the urban landscape that giving a shade to this street, as well as this is one of the what they call a heritage trees, because this Samania Saman is already exists maybe around 100 years or more than 50. So let me search back. Okay. One of the important when we talk about, although that we need of block, the building, but important about how people can walk and attend the place. And this is the workshop houses. But interestingly, you can see the model to show how the conservation, the urban conservation, right, to preserve this building or the old shop houses become a new function or an activities, and they add on a new structure to change the existing road to become a pedestrian. So instead of this is the road coming in, maybe a long time ago function for the services, but it's already changed into the pedestrian mall and maybe some market at the back. And you can see the waterfront are all well protected, so you see that you can go around the water edge. So let's see what character over there. So this is the old area in this old town, but to give more new activities, of course, this is what we call a contrast between the new and the old structure. But underneath of this canopy, they have a lot of kiosks to sell so many stuff, craft, food, yeah, apparel collection. Maybe long time ago, this bridge exists for vehicle to cross this river. But when they start change this, when they block this road, this become all fully pedestrian. Okay, fully pedestrian. And when they have a fully pedestrian nice, so they can have opportunities to create kind of pedestrian mall. Okay. Unfortunately, I can't take you guys to Singapore for the case study. So normally I will take a group of students to hear introduction of landscape architecture, because you can imagine that when you walk around the city, the environment is so comfortable because of we don't have much conflict with vehicle. So the pedestrians are a bit safe and easy connection to link one space to another. So this is some of the elements, a change of level. Okay, why they create this terrace to give personalization or authority of different activities, the pedestrian and the sidewalk of the kaki lima 5-foot walkway and the cafe, right? This is one example. You can see part of the conservation, redevelopment of this area. So between the old structure and the new structure are combined. If you go look further here, the waterfront, um, okay, this is Marina Bay, and you can see this is the road. Uh, this pedestrian bridge. So then over there you can see the sky of Singapore over here. So if you stand up this way, not sure whether you can see or not later. Oops. We are okay. So this is the line that you can see from the bridge. So this is the pedestrian bridge. You are on the pedestrian bridge. so they have a free flow of the pedestrian instead of shared with the traffic. And you come to this place you can see the skyline of Singapore. So this is part of the urban landscape, how you manage people movement and urban connection. There are also some, for example, the monuments that need to be preserved, right? Because of the certain value of the history. Also, and you can see this square are much connected with the surrounding. Okay. Sometimes it's no need to have so many things there. This is to go to the MRT station, and you see the sidewalk also are depending much on the local context. Yeah. So on the local context, instead to consider what are the some areas, right? Even you can see some maybe that you can find out the vertical green. Let's see. Oh, I think it's, you can see that's the vertical green in the city. So that's also part of the you can comment on the urban landscape. So the treatment of the sidewalk. Remember that as a designer, we need to ensure that whatever we design must be safe and secure for the public. And why they put this bollard here is to control the movement instead of allowing the traffic, especially motorcycle coming in or maybe some other vehicles. So they need to put the bollard. Yeah. So this example you can see people using their bicycle. They can explore the city, and along the way there are many type of parks and that connect areas of this city. I'm using Singapore because I think for me very clear. So in terms of urban design, city, the areas also need to be highlighted. So we are not bulldozed or left out the old areas. We need to integrate them between the old and new, right? Old and new. So you can see from there, from this model, this is the central business district, all the skyscrapers there, and this is the old area. So what they do, so all this sidewalk they expand. So they extend the sidewalk from the way to the pedestrian walk, and they reduce the traffic flow. So you can see it's very narrow, but this is the sidewalk giving opportunity for people to to walk along the block. So you can see, yeah, this is important. So some of the building are old building and need to be conserved and preserved, as well as the giving uh, some new treatment, all right, design treatment. And you can see at this corner, so to allow these maybe bicycle or the wheelchair disabled people, so they need no curb should be at the corner, so easily that they can bring their stuff in and out of this particular area. This is one example in the city of Singapore. Of course, city got so many type of urban space. The river in the city, for example, like in Bugis Junction. So this is another thing. So mostly this is the residential block, and a very important way, and how the river can become a main connection that can allow people to explore the whole city or urban space. So maybe, of course, the treatment and the infrastructure need to be carefully developed and provide great facilities for people walking. So it's again that pedestrians play a very important role in making the city livable, pleasant, and enjoy for the cities, the urban community to explore. This is just one example at Bugis Junction. You can see the treatment of the urban landscape covers not just um, not just ensure the water quality, but also how this urban corridor can become a social place for the community to be utilized, and they can do a lot of activities there. You can see the combination of benches, yeah, sitting, the tree grating, and the dustbin as well. And the sidewalk is good that you can see from here the width of the road and also the sidewalk are almost similar. And this is one of the treatment of the waterfront. So there are many type of public spaces in the city. So normally when we talk about um, city, so city consists of many type of not just building or structure, many type of structure, but also a public space, including the waterfront, pedestrian, park, square, plaza, right? So you can see that the urban landscape is one of the important is to integrate all these aspects to uh, to explore for visitors, so to lot of people. So you can see this atrium to give more comfortable walk for people coming to this old town area, but also they can change some of the uh, urban feature, urban space, more new looks and new function. So you can imagine that. So this is some of the urban design treatment. So the road treatment, this is the urban landscape, the streetscape, and also the vegetation. Right, and also the sky bridge. So they have a sky bridge to connect between building to another building. So you can see very nice treatment that connect I think this is the National Library and the shopping mall. So they have an urban plaza, a skywalk that connected between these two blocks. And you can see some vertical gate and the rooftop garden as well. For me, Singapore is very interesting place to be studied. and also to explore as a good urban design. Okay, last time I already shared to you about Dubai, but maybe later, hopefully, if we have time, we can go to Singapore about urban design. So from here as well, you can see different picture to show the value of housing areas. For example, this maybe the old, of course now it's very expensive, but the old areas area right, now is many apartment, even the vertical grid, the roof garden, okay, uh, a city, a river, right, uh, street landscape, the urban street landscape, okay, and the MRT, the station. This is how to urban area. So of course it looks very complex. You need to integrate, but again, you can see this yellow line to show the connection. People can walk, can use their scooter to explore the place. And land use, you can see some some places are represented as green areas, such as park. Yeah. Okay. One day you can visit the city of Singapore, especially to learn about urban design. Can see vertical rooftop. I think we go to is almost similar. I think it's more easier for me to use this Google Earth to explain to you. So plans are very compact. See, I forgot what was, I'm not sure. Okay, I think let me try. Okay, this is my university, Shibuya Institute of Technology. It's a very nice campus. You can see the canal. And you can see this model. It looks like not so many PM, not dense, right? Because of less towers, but no compact. So, but you can see here how the urban landscape play a role in terms of making the city green. There's a lot of pocket spaces there, and these pocket spaces basically uh, provide by this particular owner. So giving a part of the, so they contribute to become a public space, and they can come in build up more level to replace this open space. You also can see from here the urban connection that connect every corners of the city. So not just on ground, but also you can see this the zebra crossing on ground, and also you can see the pedestrian bridge connected this area. Okay, it's very easy to use this, and you can. This is all the pocket space. Last time your friends asking about is pocket space and park. So if you go to the center, right center. Let me try to get it out. So this is what the Sumida River or the big river. All right, this is the best. Let me try to find out. So you can see the there. I want to see the city of this station. I'm very familiar with it. So the one of the urban. Actually, this park belong to the king of Japan. I think the king and the queen still stay there. And you can see the canal around it for the city ago. And this is the urban park, and you can find this one of the first urban square in place. And they have a fountain and bola from angle. This is the Tokyo, very Tokyo station, and this is the boulevard, yeah, and plaza in front of the Tokyo station, and this is where the strong axis that connect the here, the king, and you can walk around to this boulevard, to this station. The old station, but interestingly, they painted the image character old station because of the historical building in the city of Tokyo, and they built this urban uh, boulevard to show what to this is the image. So the vista here. Hopefully I can see. Sure why we cannot open this, or maybe this is the underneath. Right. I will not continue further. I think I just continue. Hopefully, we understand about urban landscape design. Okay. So now, is there any question? Of course, when you come to your studio work, I think in the fourth semester, second year, semester 4, to take urban landscape design studio, right? So you will learn more about what is urban landscape design, the what kind of analysis that you need to do, what sort of data that you need to analyze, right? Recognizing the urban landscape features. But at least this class just introducing you what is urban landscape design all about. Okay, now I would like to. Is there any question? If not, let me focus our next lecture about public park. So just now I mentioned about urban landscape, right? So in some this slide in Malay, but I will translate into English. So one of the project that we are commonly involved, design a public park. Okay, so it's very common project for landscape architect involvement to design a park that, of course, the purpose of the public park can be a place that for people recreation and leisure. Sometimes it depends on the certain activities as well. For example, talking about the community park, they have various type of urban of parks. Maybe if you look in the Google Earth, you can see the different type of green spaces, community park, neighborhood park, right? Urban park, yeah, national park, pocket park. Okay, but basically all same because whatever we do is serve for people and activities. So a park is a place to serve for people activities, as well as there are two things here. One, you're talking about people needs, and second one, you think about the environmental needs. Example, giving as the what you call the carbon storage footprint, so you can store all this carbon emission, giving a cooling effect to the urban areas or to that particular community. Also can be a place that can extract habitat. So it's a lot of function of when we have a public park. It's not just about for people, but also for the habitat. So public park or recreation area so means a public land that has been designated designated for park or recreational activities, including but not limited to a park only, playground, natural trail, yeah, sometimes a swimming pool, a playground, right, reservoir. The water retention area also can be a park. For example, now in many housing areas they have a water retention pond, but one of the retention pond, when they have heavy rain, can retain the water and slowly discharge to the main river. But if there is no heavy rain, so it can be a park for people to use it. Okay, so there are a lot of function there, of course, including the some maybe you can equip with sport facilities. It depends on the area and also function, right? Basically, the park, when we have park development purposely for the recreation and leisure activities. So why we need to plan a park? Because park can create a balance. Okay, balance between the grey structure and the green structure. Grey structure, talking about the building are dominated, for example, in the urban areas, of course. But to balance up between the green and grey, so we need to provide kind of open space. Then we can use it later on. For example, people coming to the park, for them to leisure, to make some relaxing activities there. Okay, so parks provide various function, including not just about people recreation, but also economy, public health, yeah, environmental. I said to you, okay, can balance up and can reduce the loss of temperature there, community, environment, even the park also can be part of the educational sport, whereby, example, you plan to have kind of a science park or a park that can promote general knowledge, history. For example, now one of the if you go to Hiroshima in Japan, you can visit the Hiroshima Park. So the park that designed purposely for people to memorize the tragedy of the what they call the atom bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So sometimes it depends on the purpose of the park as well. So park provide hands-on environmental education and also support economy and community value as well. So I think this is in Malay. Basically in Malaysia, in the history, we have a lake garden exists during the British era, right? For example, if you can see, and I stop presenting here. So let me allow. So this is okay. Now we, for example, in Taiping, one of the famous Taiping is a name of place in Perak. So very famous lake garden here. This lake garden is one of the urban park that developed during the British era in Malaysia, and there are a lot of big trees there. This is a old kind of parks, the lake garden. So these green areas are important to be preserved because of, you can see this is the old city of Taiping, and they have more than 100 buildings that are more than 100 years age. So this is the Taiping Lake Garden, one of the early lake garden in Malaysia, and you can see some of the design to preserve the existing nature, as well as providing some of the uh, facilities, urban facilities there. So this is very famous sceneries of this park, one of the old park in Malaysia. It's far, yeah. So in Taiping Perak, for 2 hours from 2 or 3 hours from KL, and this one of the heritage trees, and you can see this. You can see very nice vista or visual with the background of the some hill and mountain there. This is the old type of parks. You can see not so many hardscape. So basically, you can see kind of if you go to UK, it's kind of English kind of style where you can have a pavilion, the big lawn, big trees with this kind of a backdrop of the mountain. So this is kind of the old kind of parks in Malaysia. This is one of the what we call it the urban park. So if you go to Kuala Lumpur or Putrajaya, it's a planned city, right? It's a planned city. So there are various type of parks there as well. But like I said to you, this is the planned city development in Putrajaya since 2000, 1995, 1996, I think. So you can find out the various type of public park. So this is a city of Putrajaya. So there are a lot of greens. So this is one of the main urban park. They call it the Taman Merdeka or the Merdeka Park. And in the middle, this is the hill, the highest point. And they have a kind of this independent, independent structure to represent of the freedom, and they put it here. So this is one of the urban park in the Putrajaya, and this is all the planned city. So you can find very high dense building. And over here they have a botanical park. What is the function of botanical park? Botanical park, the function is to display kind of type of trees, plants, especially plants or vegetation, and also to have kind of the research and development activities. So every park they have a different kind of function. For example, this park, Merdeka Park, it's for recreation, leisure, as well as to memorize back the independent era of Malaysia. And we go to this side. This is all the botanical park. So they have a lot of plants collection there. Okay. If you go further here, you can find out some public park within the community. Yeah. Example, this is one of the pocket park or the neighborhood park located within the community block, right? So, example, you can find here. Can you see it? This is all the housing, and in the middle there, they have a neighborhood park. This is the neighborhood park. The neighborhood park basically situated at the block of residents. Here, residents. So you go more further. Okay, this is all the neighborhood. No, this is not a community park. So you can see at the center there. So they have a neighborhood park. What is the community park? Basically, community park is a place or is a park that's shared by various type of housing. I'm not sure where I can find it. Community park there. It's bigger than neighborhood park. Example. Okay, maybe this is the park, right? You can see this is the park, the big park there, and this park actually shared. This community park, and this is the neighborhood park. You understand?
Yes.
The neighborhood park is a bit smaller. Community park is bigger and shared with various communities here. So that's why it's not just this for this resident, but also from this resident, right? So this is the community park. And at the center, they can have an urban park. This is the urban park. Like KLCC Park is an urban park. Okay, located at in the city center of Kuala Lumpur. So in terms of elements and components, it also depend on the level. If you go like neighborhood park is a bit smaller, of course, you cannot put much there. The urban features, the park features. Basically, you can have a playground, fitness, okay, walkway, right? The walkway. This is one of the community park that you can see. This park is actually shared by by several type of community block. So let us see. So you can see there is the residence, and inside there is a community park. Okay, let me back to my slide. I just want to show you the different type of typology of public park. So maybe I can move here. So this is some types of public parks. Like, let me share. So national park, regional park, neighborhood park. So you can find out later on. Our next assignment is about public park. Okay. Even industry also can be a park where they organize the green space. So park actually normally create a good and pleasant environment for the community. So this example, the national park basically the size throughout the country, and there are no limitation. But the regional park, so they have 100 hectares, so the more bigger. So consists of basically the regional park shared by several township, and there are also a park that located in the urban areas. So basically the 40 hectares, so we can consider as an urban park. Eh? So the rest like community, neighborhood, the children play areas. So they have a hierarchy of each parks. And it must be accessible. So every park must be accessible, and some parks are located a bit distant from from uh, from the city or from the people housing areas. But if you remember that I said to you, the neighborhood park is much more closer to the residents. Example like this we call a neighborhood park. So the park are located within the residential block. Okay, so normally at the neighborhood park, they have a kind of facilities that support community activities and also children fitness for some exercise activities there. This example, the neighborhood park. Sometimes, of course, you can find out that the features are almost similar with the community park, but the scale are much more bigger. Okay. So this is a example of seaside park in Copper, Slovenia. It's part of the urban park. Sometimes that you don't need to design all new and keep equipped with the public features. So the conservation of topography, right, leveling also you can play around and to make the park more unique. This is example of the urban park in the Slovenia. So we're playing the landform. This again this is a side of neighborhood park just now. So what is the benefit of park? When you have a park, so we can have a social benefit, economic benefit, and environmental benefits. Yeah. So social benefit can derive that giving you more space for the community communication, interaction, the healthy living. You can do a lot of exercises there. Yeah. You can meet your friends, you can jog, yeah, so on and so forth. In terms of economic benefit, we have green areas. So maybe 20 years back, sorry. Maybe in 20 years back, parks are not so popular. It's just very common open space. But now when we develop a good park, so the land value of the place that uh, located close to the park are much more higher than a place without a park, as well as the environmental benefit that you can, that when you have a park, so you can have a lot of vegetation, various type of vegetation, so you can attract not just people, but also for the habitat. At the same time, you can give a balance between the hard surfaces and the soft surfaces, and the park also can be part of the what we call it to balance up between nature and the built areas. This is one of the example, the urban square in Pittsburgh, US, Pennsylvania. So you can see this is a square. This is another park in the urban park, very small urban square. So you can see the combination between the walkway, the open lawn, right, and some vegetation, as of course the public facilities. So for the social benefit, basically, it can give a lot of benefit for everyone, kids, teenagers, right, elderly, so they can use this for various type of activities. So I think you are very familiar with the benefit of park, of course. So community around the country are learning that open space conservation is not an expense, but also an investment. So we're giving a kind of great value to the properties. Environmental benefits of parks, community garden, and greenways and other type of urban open spaces can significantly improve the air, water, wildlife, and of course there are a lot of things, including the habitat. Yeah, so we have kind of a home for all these living things. So again, in terms of design strategies, I think one of the important is about when you accessibility and circulation. So the park need to be well accessible to people for maybe by through vehicle, through motorcycle, cycling, walking. So you need to develop a strategy that how the parks can be connected to the whole surrounding context. Okay, so transit catalyzed for attracting visitors. So a park kind of a stopping point. So they come to the park, so they can, whether they're coming back to their home or they can continue the journey, right? Acquire diverse funding sources. So we can develop a park through various kind of funding through from the government, private, the national government, non-government bodies, NGO, right? So one of the important about the park strategy also talking about design the park layout for the flexibility. So the park can be changed in any time or any scenario. So after 10 or 5 years, so the park can be revised and re-improved. So consider both the inner park means the internal, the inside the park, and the surrounding of the park. So these two components are important to be integrated. So the inside of the park and also the outside of the park. This is example of the Kuala Lumpur City Centre. It's a haze horses before, and it changed become a urban park. So this urban park is very familiar to all Malaysian. This one also can become a landmark of the country, right? So this is designed by Roberto Bermak, painting on the land. So you can see the walkway and the reflective pool and the swimming pool at the end there. You can see there's the pool park, and you can see the pedestrian walk around the park. So for me, I think the park needs to be accessible, and the good circulation can derive from how you bring people around the place that you are creating. So you can study about KLCC Park. So the next study is about parks. So you can choose one of the park. So that's I will give you another direction later on. So there's some of the components of the park. For example, the water fountain, right? They have some botanical element, botanical plants there, pool, and the walkway, right? The sculpture garden. So this is kind of the plan to show how the park can serve, right, to the surrounding area. And you can see the light color of yellow, the beach, are all connected to the surrounding landscape. And this is some view of the KLCC Park. So very famous because of during weekend, holidays. So people tend to go outside to go for their holiday beach. But when we bring this to them, close to them, this KLCC Park, it can give kind of opportunity for them to utilize it, yeah, and to make this place more active. So you can see this is from the photo inside the park. It's very interesting to see the different type of material. Even when you design the park, you must consider the vista. Yeah, for example, here you can see the KL Tower, some high rise there, and also the circulation that giving some option for cycling and pedestrian. So you must create attraction and destination throughout the park. So every park must have a magnet or attraction, because the good park needs to be circulate all over the place, right? So maybe some I will quick. So this is one of the example our design in Taman, the neighborhood park in Balau, Pasir Gudang. This is some of the student work second year. Then we adjust a bit. So this is the existing park, but we improve the condition and we design. They have a football field, but there are no design feature there. So basically all empty. But now, of course, when we design it, we already established some space, and this need to be connected. So this is the surau. You can see the beach color to show the movement. And when you design, also you need to show the landscape character there. What sort of elements, what kind of the landscape character, so you can show it from the plan. So this is the 3D to show the before and after. Maybe so you can see the park are more, because here is already a football field, and this is the public park. Yeah. And this is when we finish. So this is the result of the, we change a bit. Yeah. So we use many type of technologies. Okay. To examine the site and also to promote and to discuss with the community. You can see when we design a community park, we always also need to deal with the community to understand their aspiration, to understand their inspiration. That you can include in your master plan. So this park is already completed. So you can see. I didn't show the before and after. Oh, sorry. This is the before we design. So this is after. So you can see it's very colorful, giving very contrast concept with the surrounding, but it's really trying to define well the cheerfulness for this particular community. So here is basically is a open stage. So maybe they can have a event. Yeah, they can have some event there. Even they can open their tents, kemah. They can do their own activities or operate their own program. So again, that some plants when we want to put it there, we already select and grow the plant in the nursery. So you can see the community also do some planting activity. Then they can bring all the plants and plant it at the place. So this is example you can see from the park design normally consists of, again is same, the hardscape and the softscape, and also some features of it. When we design a park, we must be what I can say here, giving the best for people to respect, because they will explain it later for the recreational purposes. Example, so park should be designed as a place for possibility for everyone. So we want to design a park. The park must be standardly used to everyone for all season. So that it's not like this season only or next season. So you need to think about how the park can serve to the society in many ways. So this is example of the river. Cannot necessarily for you to design all with the new features, but sometimes you can maintain, you can remain the some character. The aesthetic and beauty also important, because when we design, it's something that we need to attract people coming in. So you can have a kind of like towers, what else, the feature wall, plants. So giving a more aesthetic value with the respecting of function. So the value also important to be highlighted. So you can go to our department, Malaysia Landscape Department. You can visit the website. They have some article already shared here. So the pathway, possibilities, and connection are always important. So when you design a park, you need to bring people around the or every single corner of the particular area. But it depends on the mode different. The active, positive, active, semi-active, positive space. Yeah, this example. So you can see some typology, yeah, for people jogging, relaxing, right, playing. So all this important because park normally create more variety in terms of activities and elements. So this example, an example of parks. So sometimes when you have a hill, right, like this, so maybe you can maintain and you can suggest to become a playground for kids that living there. They can also play the playground of this. You can see it. So everything, whatever you do, you must have a purpose, the aims. You must have the aim and the concept. Because when you do something related to the history and heritage, so you need to consider that kind of main character of the parks. Okay, this is another example. Some of the landscape elements. So you design for everyone. So whatever we do in our design, we need to consider disabled people as well, the elderly, kids, or children, right? So they also must hopefully accessible to all the design features that you provide, facilities. So that's why you must consider when they use their wheelchair, you need to avoid any obstacle that can limit their movement. So it's again the function of the park is very important here, right? To establish an appropriate experiences because people will experience the place. So you must imagine when you draw a park or design a park, you must consider that people will go around it, right? So design attribute also need to be considered. For example, the flexibility of the space, identity of the park, right? Amenity, what sort of facilities and amenities, the safetyness of the park to everyone again, the circulation. So of course you normally you have a big areas, right? So you need to divide into several zones that you can create a good circulation system that people can explore the whole side of the park. Trying to avoid any material, okay, that can create vandalism. Or you need to consider some position of your design feature, maybe accessibility, attraction, and a part of it the identity. So example, if the park in Malaysia, so maybe you can use the tropical concept. So that if the park in somewhere four season countries, so you can imagine that this is in Japan. So there are a lot of bonsai and also sakura. So when you find out this kind of a photo, actually to show up your potential design later on. This is already exists, but of course the designer before the development developed, so maybe there's some images already taken and they trying to highlight the image or the identity of the park. Yeah, same with this Park Güell by Antonio Gaudi, very famous architect, the Gaudi Park in Barcelona. So this is not a public, all public, but it's semi-public because they also provide people coming in and enjoy the garden because this is kind of a private place. But later they, after some years, so they already open to the public. So this author like to play with some tile, colorful, okay, and very organic concept. So this already applied to this kind of feature in the park. So you must know what sort of the design character that you want to highlight it. So they use all these style, colors, yeah, the part of their design features. We're talking about amenities. Amenities and facilities and amenities should be functional and suit the needs of activities related to park and recreation. So whatever you do, for example, toilet, surah, musalla, water cooler areas, uh, what else? Dustbin, okay, the waste storage. So you need to consider all that things. Yeah. So this is another example of the urban park. You can see this very fine in terms of they're using a strong line that cross the park, and this is how you look from the line. You can find out more spaces such as the waterscape areas, entry plaza, right? So you must understand that. So people love to walk, come to the park because of the green, because of the cooling effect. This is example in Putrajaya. So if you go to Perbanan Putrajaya, you can find out various type of park there. The botanical park, the nature park as well. They have a nature park or forest park. They have the heritage park, the wetland park. So please take a look all this type of park because every park will have a different kind of a landscape. Okay, this is example from your senior work. So when you start design a park, circulation play very important because it become a network, right? To look around it. So that's why if you do this diagram to show how people moving the whole site. All right, from the entrance, parking space. So normally they have the entry plaza to create a welcoming. Then they have the whole walkway that go around the park. So this is some example. So you can play whether you want stick with the very rigid form or you can play with an inorganic form, right? It's again that when we're talking about park, it must be well accessible to everyone. Okay, and some places you can gazette it as a part of the natural trail. You still bring people in, but you need to know in terms of how you choose a different type of material, colors, yeah. So this is at the waterfront areas, right? So this is just an example of the concept. So you can find out how to give it a more shade to this area, entrance, the sitting areas, benches. So there are very type of benches. Okay, the playground. So maybe you can take a look some catalog, and maybe some part you can design it as well, based on your concept. This is some of the city square urban park. I think in vertical form. And this is very interesting, like I already mentioned to you in our ecological design input or ecological park. So kiosk, yeah, walkway. So you need to combine all this. Even some in the nature park also you need to see how your design can be, enhance the uniqueness of the natural elements. Okay, I think I have more slide to go, so I think I would like to stop here. So the second one I will continue in my next lecture. This is about the memorial park in the city of Hiroshima. That is the museum, the Hiroshima Museum, and in front of it they have a plaza. Sorry, urban park. This is the memorable dome that still exists in the city of Hiroshima, although there's 90%, most of the areas are damaged and gone, but this building remain there. So that's a bit on my lecture today, and the next meeting I will continue about parks because I need also to switch some Google to explain about more description about public park. All right. So later I will share to you this slide. Okay. Is there any question from you guys?
No question yet.
Very good. I hope that you can understand a bit the public park. Of course, you will have attend the park lecture by another subject, right? So this part of the introduction here is about the public park design. Okay, with that, thank you very much and have a nice and good evening to all, and have a nice day to Ispar. I think 1 o'clock in Jeddah, in Arab,
Yeah,
in
1 o'clock.
Saudi.
Saudi.
All right, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum
Sorry, let
salam.
me give you this code for your attendance.